Now, just to move on to the Champions League, Liam, the Liverpool-Bayern match was fascinating in its own way. I thought Liverpool had their chances, but Bayern generally kept the tempo at a level they wanted it, rather than Liverpool imposing themselves. What did you make of it?
Well, Bayern played for a draw, and they were happy to try and hit Liverpool on the counter-attack, but I've never seen a Bayern team over the last 10 years play in such a reserved fashion. The full-backs never crossed the halfway line, hardly. Kimmich and the David Alaba, never really ventured forward. They wanted to keep it very tight. They wanted to deny space in behind. They sat deep. Hummels played very well. They sat deep, and Liverpool found it very hard to get behind them. They did have a spell, Liverpool, for 15 minutes in the first half where they should have won the game, particularly with Mane. You had two or three really good chances, and they didn't take them. And in the end, Liverpool ran out of ideas. I was quite disappointed in Liverpool, but Bayern, in my opinion, they played for a draw and they got the draw, but the tie is still very much open. A 0-0. If Liverpool could go there, they can even draw the match 1-1 or 2-2, and they're through, Eamon. So it's all to play for. Yeah,
John, the absence of Van Dijk in the event, it didn't hurt Liverpool, and Fabinho, who dropped back from midfield, I thought he played well insofar as there wasn't an awful lot of defending to do, but he defended okay. What was your impression of Liverpool, John?
Well, Liverpool doing what they were supposed to do at home, aim and attack as much as they possibly could. I was disappointed. Well, I would say disappointed with Bayern Munich. That's what they decided to do, to play for the no-score draw, and got it. But, the talk before the match was the absence of Van Dijk into defence, how it would affect them. And they didn't attack them. Yes. Lewandowski never got a kick of the ball. He's the striker. But they, as Liam said there, they just played for the draw. They were happy to do it. They had no real intention. They were very negative in their approach to it. Now, that'll prove either good or bad when we get the second leg. They might regret doing that, where they could have got Liverpool at the weakest at the back on that particular match and didn't try to take advantage of it. I think that was the disappointing thing from my point of view from the German team, Eamon.
Yeah, and of course Robben and Ribery would have been two serious weapons in the past, wide players who could really get the job done and create danger. Both of them absent through injury, age.
Oh, Ribery was there, Eamon.
He was there, but he didn't start, and
that was, I think, that was their attitude to the game, that they weren't going to really have a go at them, at Liverpool at all.
Yeah, Liam, a 0-0 draw away from home in these Champions League games isn't necessarily as good as it looks, because as you pointed out, if Liverpool score one, Bayern have to score two to win. So this is a very live tie.
Oh, absolutely. And Bayern will have to attack at home. So you'll think there will be maybe a bit more space for the likes of Salah, Firmino, and they could very well take advantage of that. Liverpool looked a bit. I don't know what it was. Low on
energy.
On energy, yeah, low on energy. Eamon. They didn't look as keen or as intense as they can look, and I was quite disappointed. I'm a little bit worried about them now. I fancy them to win the title.
Yeah,
and I know you're going to go on to the game on at the weekend against Man U. And I'm worried about them. I don't know whether they're feeling the pressure or not,
Yeah, John, I suppose if you're playing against... I thought Bayern defended well. I thought Hummels, as Liam said, was very good. Kimmich was good. These are players who were able to slow the game down, were confident enough to pass the ball amongst themselves and control the tempo of the game. And Liverpool weren't, apart from that 15-minute spell before half-time, Liverpool weren't able to dictate the tempo the way they normally would do.
No, it was a difficult match for them, Eamon. Bayern having the approach that they did, if you're going to do it that way, well, that's, it makes the opposition look bad as well. I'm not saying it made Liverpool look bad, but they certainly weren't as good as they can be.
Yeah.
But that's down to good defending. But we'll only know, Eamon, whether that was correct or not after the second leg.
Yep. Okay.
Because there's a lot to play for, and you said it, Liam said it. If Liverpool score one, they've got to score two. So they might look back on this match, and say, "Good God, we should have had a go. We should have had a go there." So it'll depend now on the next time they play, and we'll see who was right and who was wrong in their tactics.
Yeah, just one point worth dwelling on. As a Liverpool, fan, when I'm in fan mode, I wouldn't mind if they were out of the Champions League, to be honest, John, because they could focus on the Premier League. Maybe that's stupid thinking. But from your own experience, I think you were telling me earlier in the week, on two occasions when Leeds won their Championship, which is now the Premier League, you'd been knocked out of everything else. So it might not necessarily be a bad thing. Am I right in saying that when you won the league, you'd been knocked out of everything else?
Yeah. Well, we were in the running every year, Eamon, for trophies, and sometimes we were in the running for four. And in those days, obviously, we were playing with the same team every week. But it's no coincidence that the two times that we won the league in, 11 years, we were knocked out of competitions early on. Now, obviously, when we were knocked out early on, it's a disappointment. But it is, I think it's a blessing in disguise,
right,
to do it. Now, you see Manchester City at after four. They've got a big squad, but it's still a hell of an ask. Whereas in Liverpool's case, I think if Liverpool do go out, it definitely gives you a much better chance of winning the Premiership, because you can rest players.
Yeah.
There's less injuries. There's all the various things you can concentrate on what you're doing in that particular way. So it could be a blessing in disguise if they do go out of this particular competition.
Liam,
I think.
Do you subscribe to that theory, Liam?
Well, they should be able to handle both competitions. It's different when you're in four, as Manchester City are, and as John said, they have the squad to cope. But it could be a burden in the end. I'd like to see Liverpool carry on in the competition, and I think Klopp will play it that way. They'll go to Bayern and he'll do his utmost to win. And as we said, the tie is open, very open.
Yeah,
I think all the Manchester United are obviously in trouble, but the other three, I think English teams could finish up maybe two in the semi-final this year in the Champions League game. I think that's strong.
Yeah.